We refer to this next clip as the Great Gatsby documentary, since the narrator makes reference to F. Scott Fitzgerald's epic a number of times during the segment. In reality, the novel took place in the 1920s, whereas Clenet Coachworks was reliving the glory days of automotive construction a decade later in the 30s. The producer was no doubt leveraging interest from the wonderful film starring Robert Redford, which was released a few years earlier. This documentary provides a superb view of Series I construction in the old Goleta Guppy Hangar, and appeared as a weekend magazine on a Southern Californian TV station in the late 1979. Pure nostalgic gold for us Clenet folks.
If the Great Gatsby were alive today, chances are he'd be driving a Clenet car. In its short history, the first Clenet was hand-built in 1976. The Clenet has been praised by Automotive Age magazine as America's Rolls-Royce, and by Fortune magazine, which called it driven art. In fact, the designer of these $67,500 vehicles prefers to think of them as more an art form than a means of transportation. His cars, says French-born Alain Clenet, are supposed to be modern classics, combining the elegance of the 1930s with the materials and technology of today. And soul of the Clenet car may belong to the Great Gatsby, but the skeleton belongs to the Ford Motor Company. This is what a Clenet car looks like at the beginning. It is, in fact, a Mercury Cougar. Then the entire body is lifted off and sold to a salvage operation, and workers begin modifying the frame, though not the engine. In fact, the original engine is left so intact that the Ford Motor Company honors the warranty on the Cougar engines which power all Clenet cars.
I've been working here for about 10 months now, and I've experienced a lot of enjoyment out of this. I've been able to add a few small ideas here and there to improve the car.
One of the first things they told me when I first started working here was take your time and do a good job, and we care about the quality, and I take a lot of pride in my work, and I get a lot of satisfaction out of it.
We make the most expensive side pipes in the world, you know, and they're also, you compare them to other cars, and we make the nicest custom car that anybody makes.
Now, for $67,500, you have a right to expect that the appointments are luxurious, at least. For example, you have your engraved glass vent windows here, English leather throughout the car, Pioneer stereo system and graphic equalizer booster, your crystal ashtray, and, of course, lamb's wool carpeting. And for $67,500, you have a choice of a wide range of colors to paint the car, but the designer himself, Clenet, holds ultimate veto power if he doesn't think your color selection is tasteful. $67,500. The man behind the glamorous Clenet car himself looks like the ideal owner. He's a dashing, handsome Frenchman turned American citizen named Alain Clenet, whose family has been in the automotive business for 3 generations. His father was the first Ford dealer in France. Alain studied engineering, design, and fine arts in college, then came to Detroit and worked for one of the major American car makers. There he rather quickly got fed up with the practice of what he calls design by committee. Eventually, Clenet moved to Santa Barbara, California, with the dream of starting his own car company, which would produce a limited edition of 250 cars, The concept of a limited edition was key to getting customers to think of the cars as individual works of art.
There's so many millions of people in the world. I want to go through life somewhat different. And I suspect that the rest of the world wants to be individualistic. And I think we cannot put the world in a uniform. A uniform is less expensive, maybe, but it's a uniform, and who wants to be in a uniform all the time? I have been on paper bankrupt for a good year, at least, supported by the deposits of my customers who believed in our ability to produce, and we promised and we delivered. Not always on time at the beginning, but as a pattern now, you order a car, it's delivered on time or before, and we systematically make a car every 2 days. So we have obtained credibility, which allows us to borrow money, but we don't have to borrow money anymore.
Now, the first car you sold cost $25,000, and now the same car, same series, costs $67,500. How come the rapid escalation in price?
Well, two reasons. One was that the car was not up to the standard that it is at right now, obviously. And number two, I was losing my pants at that price.
But you wanted to get it bought.
Well, I had to. It was a semi-calculated deal in a way that the car had to become an investment for the owner.
What kind of people buy a Clenet car? Who are your customers?
You have an age group, which is 45 to 55. People who are very exclusive. They try to find some ways of being exclusive because they have been successful in some ways in their own business, and they buy themselves a little gift, which is great.
One person who bought himself a Clenet car as a gift is an investigator named Gordon Cox, who makes his living tracking down folks who, without their knowledge, have been left huge fortunes. And how do people react to his car?
People do come up and ask all sorts of questions. Stoplights, parking lots, restaurants. I appreciate the fact they see in the car the same sort of beauty that I saw in it, which is why I bought it.
Despite the high cost and the fact that the car gets only 17 miles per gallon, Clenet has practically sold out the limited edition of his first series. But don't be discouraged, Clenet will have a limited edition four-seater on the market soon at the same price. Don't you kind of get the feeling that both Henry Ford and the great Gatsby would have approved? We'll be right back.